Bom dia.
Hello. Bom dia.
I haven't been putting videos out lately because I've been working in a campsite in a nice village called Covas in the Concelho of Vila Nova de Cerveira. So Lawrence has been staying in the farm, keeping very busy, don't you, love?
On my own, yes.
We'll show a little bit of the jobs he's been doing. But today I just decided to give you a little update the why we haven't been putting the videos and also talk about things that have been worrying us. We decided we don't really like August because it's a very busy month. I know business probably are very happy about it. It's a lot of people around, a lot of people on holidays and spending money everywhere. But there is also other things that are not very nice, and is the fires. We're not going to put any footage because there is enough of them, and we've been bombarded with the images on all of TVs because it's every day and every hour fire.
To be fair, there are a lot of fires, and the news, the reporters, the TV channels must report on it. But yeah, it's a bit of an overload, isn't it?
It's too much, and it's worrying. And I am a bit upset. As a Portuguese, I like party, I like having fun, I like eating and drinking as anybody else. But I think people are a bit oblivious of what's going on while they're just partying away and fire just on the next village. For me, is not, I cannot understand that. Also, I would like to say something about the fireworks and the fires on these parties. And just while the next village is burning away, they are setting fireworks on the next village.
But to be fair, for about a week now, there's been a ban on fireworks.
Had to be, because otherwise...
A national ban.
Had to be, because otherwise it would be like that. People having parties here, setting fireworks, while the next village is burning away. And
we had a week ago, there was a big party in our neighbouring village. It looked great, lots of people there, I guess about 1,000. I drove through there, and just 3 miles away, 5 kilometres away, and you could see it and smell the smoke. There was a big fire raging. But I think as someone from the UK, we don't have many forest fires in the UK. In Portugal, people say that having a fire is a way of life. It's to be expected. I don't want to accept that.
No, I don't think it's to be expected. I think this, as also we have to say about climate change, etc., is true. But I noticed an increase on the fires on the last 20 years or so, because it didn't used to be so many at the same time everywhere. It used to be a big fire sometimes, and they would fight it very fast and it disappear. But now, as soon as they are stopping one, the other one is starting.
Yes,
that's not normal.
There was an article on the news the other night that showed that 1 in 4 fires in Portugal, at least this year, have initiated at night, and which makes you think, okay, there is spontaneous combustion. There could be a bottle lying around in the dry grass, and like a magnifying glass effect, and it could start fire. There could be somebody could throw a cigarette end out of a car window, or firework, as Marina said, could be mostly at night though. And but there's also the other way of starting a fire, which not many people talk about.
Criminal.
That worries us.
Yeah.
Criminality, yes. Arson is the English word, not a nice word, but it's a serious crime.
We think is a lot of arsonists around, and it should.
What do they say in Portuguese? Fogo de posto.
Fogo posto.
Yeah, put in a fire. Yeah. Put in a fire is how they say.
I don't understand these people that do that, but also I don't understand how the authorities are not working on prevention more.
Well, they are. They are. Every spring in in the village we lived in before this, in Alvoca de Serra, the GNR, the National Police, would come with some representatives from the fire service and advise the people about the risk of fire and what to do if you see one, and how to protect yourself and your land. So there is an educational program about fire, and I'm sure in school the kids learn about
I
it.
don't know. I'm talking about more like, the municipalities, instead of spending so much money in fireworks, use that money to clear more the paths, help people, like for instance in irrigation systems that are ancient and used to keep the land humid and more easy to fight the fires.
Yes.
That money could be spent on these things instead of just burning away and provoke even more fires. It's my opinion. It might be controversial, but I think it's on the time we shouldn't be thinking of just burning fireworks, burning money. You should use that money for something more meaningful.
I'm not a fan of fireworks, but in the UK, we normally get fireworks on bonfire night and at New Year's Eve.
Once a year is good enough.
But Portugal and other countries love them, and it's a huge industry.
I know it is a news, but
worth a lot of money.
People should reconvert.
With this, Portugal is in a state of alerta, which means there's restrictions what you can do outside. You can't go into certain forest areas, and of course you can't light a fire, barbecues,
but
particular kinds of barbecues, and you can't use fireworks. Now the firework companies have complained.
They are complaining
because they've lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And because this is, as Marina said earlier, August, it's very busy. There's lots of tourists around, lots of returning Portuguese, people that live in France and Switzerland and Germany and UK. They all come back for their holidays. And of course,
they want parties.
They want to
I
party.
understand, but
and
they
each
could go
village,
without the fireworks.
Each village has its own party, and the
Yeah.
Portuguese do know how to party. It goes for about 3 days until 5 o'clock in the morning. That's almost without fail. But it's only for another a week. We sound like killjoys, don't we?
No, I like party, as I said, but you should think about others. You should think about the environment. You should think about everything, because some parties that I was listened to, because I wasn't being there, but too loud. They should think about the noise as well.
You've been working, as you said, haven't you? So you're seeing it from a different side.
Yeah, I had people coming to stay in the campsite and want a piece of quiet, but they couldn't have because the sound was blasting. I am not against the party, but they probably should think a little bit about the noise, be a bit less, because sometimes you see like 1,000 people around the stage, and the sound could be a bit lower, and they pretend that it's like a huge party, and sometimes it's not that big, but the sound is horrendous. Like you can hear like 5 kilometers away. No need for that. I'm just saying that. I don't know. No one will listen, but you should think about that as well.
I've been here my own, as Marina said, working away on the farm on my own, and a couple of days ago, there was 2 parties going on in 2 different parishes, one over there and one 5 kilometres away, and they simultaneously playing. I think they were live bands, but they were competing with each other.
What about
like
if there is a doctor,
it was like
nurse trying to sleep, to go to work next day?
They're probably at the party.
But not everybody is at the party. Some people have to go to work next day or do something important, and they're not allowed to sleep. And some of the parties are in the middle of the village. If people live there, old people, they want to rest.
I think...
I don't know, maybe they should think about it.
I think a lot of the old people will also enjoy it.
Well, no, not really. At 3, 4 in the morning with such a loud music.
In your memory from growing up in Portugal, do you remember the parties going on for so long and being so loud?
No. They didn't used to be like that.
And
it's getting louder and louder.
Didn't they use a lot of the parties based around religious holidays and celebrations?
And also, I will point out something that no one talks, or hardly, I think.
Something else nobody talks about.
Except is the road, the accidents and the deaths is absolutely horrific. Every single day is 3, 4, 5 deaths.
Well,
All families.
hold on, not exactly every day, not exactly fit. That'll be
Mainly in the weekends.
But
okay.
there was a few days ago on a main road in the south of Portugal. There was a horrible head-on collision between two cars, and 6 people died. 5 people from the same family, and they were emigrants. They didn't live in Portugal, but they were Portuguese, and they came home for the holiday, and they're
Many
gone.
people come
They're
and
gone,
just never go back.
And there are, as Marina said, there are lots of accidents, and there are lots of road deaths. Portugal's got the
motorbikers.
It's not a good record to have. It's one,
All
I
the time.
think, in the EU, it's one of the
Reckless
highest.
driving.
Maybe, I don't want to be unfair,
Scary.
but perhaps Serbia, which I don't think is in the EU, has got higher. But Portugal's
What about
leading
the
the way
driving?
in that.
The driving, you know, the
Well, tell me about the
standards.
driving standards that you see on our travels around
horrible,
Portugal.
horrible.
What-
Overtaking on the bend
Yeah.
with the double white lines and just overtaking everywhere. Not respecting the crossing. Overtaking when you stop on the cross, someone is crossing, they overtake you. What about these driving standards? What do you think about it? Shouldn't we make something about it, or make a petition? Get more people, more police on the roads. Get more cameras to stop the speed. The speed is unbelievable.
To slow people down.
Slow people
Yeah.
down, because slow people down, and also enforce the law about, you know, respect the traffic. What is
The
it?
regulations.
The regulations. Because overtaking anywhere, go too close to the cyclists, go too close to people walking on the side walks, you know, on the. It's horrible. Cyclists being killed all the time as well.
Why do you think? You know, what is it then? Why is Portugal, Portuguese? Not all of them,
Of
but
course,
some
it's not,
of the
but it's too many.
some of the
many.
Portuguese drivers. Why are they driving like that? Behaving like that?
No idea. No idea.
They do.
Too many parties?
They do. No, it's. They do seem to be in a hurry.
In a hurry for what?
Always to be in a hurry, like that modern life, I suppose.
Well, it's just, for me, I don't care if they're in a hurry, but I think that they should respect the laws and the traffic, you know, regulations. And it should be, if people don't respect, the police should be there to make them respect, because it's too many people being killed, innocent people. Because I am scared to be on the road. I am supposed to, I haven't been driving for many years, and I am scared to go back to the road, to be honest, because
Yeah.
you don't know what's going to be on this next bend. It's everywhere, you know. In every little lane, you find a lunatic.
There's 2 things you can pretty much 100% predict in Portugal. As you're driving around a corner in the mountains, normally, which is where we live, you will generally meet someone coming around that corner over the line, you know, taking the late apex like Lewis Hamilton, but they're not as good as Lewis Hamilton or any other motor racing driver you can name. And the other thing that you'll know is if you look in your rear view mirror or your side mirrors, like in our van, and you see a Portuguese car behind you, you know the next time you look, he'll be right
overtake.
on your backside, and the next time you look, he's overtaking you.
Anywhere.
And it doesn't matter if it's not really a good place to overtake.
If you're not safe.
And when our van still had its UK registration, it was even worse. It's something about you cannot stay behind a van, and you can certainly not stay behind a foreign van. Now our van is Portuguese, and so we are anonymous. But still, if you've got your nice little Audi A3 or whatever, you're not going to sit behind a Portuguese van driven by a couple of old fogies like us.
It's unbelievable. Too many young people dying on the roads, and we should
I think
question
that's a
why.
point. I think that's a point. I see. It's incredible. Portugal is regarded as not the richest country in the EU, and there's a very low minimum wage here, and you know there's quite a bit of work in poverty. But you wouldn't think so when you see some 20-year-olds, the kind of cars they've got. I've never had and never will be able to afford, and
Mercedes
and beautiful cars, cars that are fast and got great brakes and great steering and great road holding, and yet.
If they're driven by inexperienced people,
the people
they
driving
have
them
to be inexperienced, 20-year-olds.
Think they're better than they are. We got a friend, Portuguese. I won't name him, but I said this to him once. what is it with the Portuguese drivers? Oh, and he said, well, you know, they think they're better than they are, but not me. I am as good as I think I am, and I
Okay.
can drive fast. Well,
Okay.
that may be so.
Maybe you should go a bit slower, even if you can do it faster, but
Yeah.
just try to be a bit slower. We wanted to say something about these things before, about the driving, but because this is, I'm sorry if it's a sort of a negative video, but we wanted to point out all things that have been worrying us, and these are some of them. There's a few more.
Don't worry, there's many more.
Exactly, and we probably will talk about
But
it
it's not.
at the moment.
It's not all bad.
Later.
It's not all bad. It is a beautiful day here. It's a bit cloudy after the
Cooler now.
heat wave. It's cooler, and Portugal is still a great country. But you can't.
Could be better.
Yeah, we can't just pretend that everything's fine. Just like in anyone living in any country. I mean, there's far worse countries and there's better countries probably, and it's just where we live and we notice these things.
Speak about it, and I just would like to say one more thing in that context. I know there's a lot of, I don't know who's going to view us, but if any foreigners living in Portugal legally, obviously, and are registered registered to vote, you should be able to.
But when is the deadline? I think it's the 12th. I think it's
today. But you can always register.
But
you might not be able to vote this election, but you vote on the next one.
We can't, as a foreigner,
be heard.
Yeah.
Make your voice be heard, because if you're just living your life, minding your own business, it's fine. But you should be able to also make your point if there's something that worry you, and and use your vote to make pressure into authorities. Our first, you are allowed to vote on the municipal.
I think there's a couple of things I'd like to add. I think you have to have lived in Portugal for 3 or 4 years.
3 years.
And you can't, as a British citizen, I can't vote in the national elections. Of course, because I can vote in the national elections in the UK.
Yeah.
But I can vote here, and I am registered to vote for my town hall, which is Arcos de Valdevez, and more locally the parish council, which I'm going to do in I think it's October, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's my first time to vote in Portugal, so I believe in.
I used to vote in the UK. It's fair enough that Lawrence can vote in Portugal.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't think it'll change much, but if I don't vote,
if everybody register, the voice can be heard. I think it's important. We have to take,
exactly. If
our
you don't,
rights.
If you don't like something, at least on a local level, you can make
pressure.
A protest by voting for or against.
Yeah.
So it is important, and I'm looking forward to it. It'll exercise my democratic duty and so on.
Absolutely.
But remember, whoever you vote for, government wins. I didn't say that.
Oh, we fight the law, but the law will win.
That's true.
No,
but actually, going back to the law, I like driving. I like cycling as well, and other forms of transport, walking particularly. UK, I'm from, is probably it's got the most CCTV cameras and radar and speed traps and vigilance on the road of almost any country.
And lower speed limit.
Yeah, and loads of in Wales is a 30 kilometre, a 20 mile an hour speed limit in many urban areas.
People don't like it, but
which I think is a good idea.
Good.
And in the UK, you're going to get a ticket if you drive too fast. Portugal it's refreshing.
Tickets,
there's very few.
There's hardly anyone there to give you the ticket. That's the problem.
There's very few cameras, and that's great in a way. And the other
people
good thing.
People hate that cameras.
It's very.
But respect the speed. Sorry,
it's very unusual in Portugal to pay for car parking. There's quite a, if you're used in the UK, you pay to park for 10 minutes just to take a photograph at a seaside. So. In one sense, Portugal's really good for driving, but these beautiful roads, long straight roads and winding mountain roads, and you don't have to go along at a snail's pace, but you also don't have to go so fast that you put yourself and other people's lives
Other
at risk.
people are
And if you go
yeah.
that fast, you don't see what you're driving through. And I understand that many people are going to work and they're late, and they can't be late, or they're finishing work
I
and they want to
don't
go
really,
home.
yeah, I don't
But
think
some people don't go home if they crash.
many people, too many people are not going back home, and especially on the holiday season. It's absolutely horrific.
It is very sad when you read about this family that were living in France, that all of their family now have to come to Portugal. It's already been for a mass funeral, and no, I mean obviously the police are investigating the cause of the accident, but I'm sure
They were living in the UK actually. This six.
they were living in UK. Yeah,
A
that's
family
right.
of five.
Yeah. I got that
Living in
wrong.
the UK.
Yeah.
This mother, father, the twin sons, and one of the sons' girlfriend.
Yeah.
The daughter stayed in the UK, and they all gone.
Yeah.
And another guy, the guy that was also on the other car, was 26-year-old, left a wife and a kid.
Yeah.
We don't know what happened. We're not going to judge, but we should remind people, just please think about your life, other people's life, when you are overtaking on a bend with double line. Please don't do that.
I expect speed is always a factor in these. If you're going slow,
maybe someone fell asleep. We really don't know.
You've got more time.
Police is investigating, but it's too many similar accidents. You know, it's always overtaking, always something like that, always losing control of the car, you know, going against a post, going against a wall, falling from a, you know, like what you call this big, you know, on the side of the road.
Just going off the road into a ditch.
Into a ditch or into a river.
And the irony is, in the last few weeks, with all these fires that Portugal is suffering, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of Bombay Rush firemen and women and vehicles racing around. And there's been about
Bombay
three.
is also having accidents.
There's been about
everywhere.
3 or 4 accidents
Jesus
between
Christ.
ambulances, fire engines, and other vehicles. Now,
what is the point?
these guys and women are in a hurry
Be safe.
to go to a fire, but again, it's doing
Well,
nobody any good
what's
if the
that?
fire engine doesn't even make it to the emergency. And anyway,
No, it's
a
just,
bit.
I'm sorry about that.
It's a bit of a complaining video, isn't it?
No, we want to say what we're thinking, and you know, I would like to hear from you. What is your point of view about things we said? If you agree or disagree, what do you think about it? Like the speed. What about the fireworks? What about this too loud music? You know. What about being oblivious of the fires?
And yeah, I think on that point, for me, the most interesting thing is what about this attitude that fires are inevitable?
They're not.
Well, if we follow that dogma, then they become inevitable. And I refuse to, because it's very hot here. It always is hot in the summer, and there is a lot of land which can catch fire, but it doesn't. Our land doesn't catch fire.
Who starts that? Throwing cigarettes to the window. It's unbelievable that people still do that.
Yeah.
Having barbecues in the middle of forest. It's unacceptable, and people still do
Well,
that.
again, clarify that situation. All barbecues now should have a chimney,
Yeah,
so
but
they're
people do
enclosed.
it.
But a lot. Look, we've been many places, and you can see where people had a
We
fire
see
on the ground.
We see the ground burn
Yeah.
and some charcoal there. They might finish it. If they leave something there.
Yeah, and it's not just the summer that there's fires. There's often fires in the winter because, of course, in the
Irresponsibility.
winter we're allowed, Portuguese farmers and everyone, you're allowed to burn when you prune your olive trees or your vines, for example, like
cuttings, yeah.
these plants here. You get a lot of waste which you've got to get rid of, and we try to chip it, but you can't chip or shred brambles. It's a bit difficult, so it's good to burn them. And so you do get loads of farm fires and so on, and of course that can be in November to March, even
And sometimes they
April.
get out of control.
And sometimes they get out of control and they tend to spread, but of course the ground is wet usually,
It's harder to spread.
and there's rain forecast. So the fire, although you've got to remember that one of the worst, probably, I don't know if it's the worst, but a horrible fire in 2017 was actually in October.
Yeah,
And,
but this
and
supposed
that was,
to be also goes by a dry.
well, that's one of the ways of spontaneous, ignition is
Ignition
dry
was,
lightning.
dry
It's like
lightning.
a thunderstorm without rain, and so lightning strikes the ground.
Supposed to be.
It
I
does
don't know.
happen. It does happen. I think that happens more in other parts of the world.
We could mention the eucalyptus that is everywhere,
Oh,
but
don't-
it's another story.
Don't mention the eucalyptus.
I don't want to go there because this will be a forever rant. I'm not talking about that, but yeah, but it's just everybody. If everybody was careful and just be careful in their behavior, not throwing cigarettes and rubbish that I see people throwing rubbish through the window of their cars, the car window, doing fire everywhere, disrespect everything, disrespect all the other people's lives and etc. If everybody have be a bit more careful.
Okay. Are you gonna try and finish this on a positive note? Is it possible?
Well, I don't think so. Maybe the positive note will be showing the jobs that Lawrence has been doing in this farm, making safer because it was abandoned not abandoned, totally abandoned, but not looked after for a few years.
You're going to try and make a video of where you've been working this month.
Yes,
Yeah.
I will make another video from the campsite, which is beautiful. I love that village. We wanted to buy a property there, but we didn't find the right one, or it didn't happen anyway. But I really love Covers, and it's a nice village. So I will
Covers, yeah, it's not far away,
it's
is it?
Villanova de Cerveira. I'll make a video of Covers, and I will today I'll make a second video. I'm not gonna put any footage on this because it's just
A rant.
A rant.
This is a rant.
This is gonna be one off, maybe, I don't know. I will make another one with some of the jobs that Laura's been doing in the farm.
You might have to wait until the evening.
Later.
But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay.
So I'm sorry, but
You shouldn't apologise for something we're saying, should you?
Well, might be a bit upsetting for some people. People might not like it, but it is what it is. It's my opinion.
You run
and
the risk.
It's based on what I see.
You run the risk of losing some subscribers.
Okay, that's
right. I go and switch the camera off.
Yeah.
We haven't not yet got a remote control, so see you later.
I'll try to be positive though.